Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to another JVS movie review. This film here, is brought to you by Blumhouse. Now, over the last 6 months, we've gotten a lot of films from Blumhouse. A lot of unfortunate, you could call them duds from Blumhouse of late. Besides Halloween Kills, like Blumhouse has not been hitting the mark with a lot of their films as of late. But here, they managed to do something different, or something I wasn't expecting to get, and it really, really works here. This film is called A House on the Bayou, and here is a quick synopsis, and then we'll get into the cast of it. Attempting to reconnect as a family, a troubled couple and their preteen daughter go on a vacation to an isolated home in the Louisiana Bay. When unexpected visitors arrive, their family facade starts to unravel as terrifying secrets come to light. Now, this film here stars Angela Sarafyan, I always get her name wrong, I don't know why, Jacob Laughlin, Leah McHugh, Doug Van Loo, and Paul Schneider. And this is directed by McAulay, who directed, Mr. McAulay directed a film last year that starred Rainn Wilson. I think he wrote and directed it, that I really, really like. I think it's Don't Tell Us So. Yeah. Coming off of that film, and then still coming off of Blumhouse's track record. When you get a film named A House on the Bayou, you're kind of expecting an overly supernatural horror film. I didn't know how gruesome it would be, but you would expect voodoo and all this other stuff because we are in Louisiana. And instead, what we get here is a very intense family thriller with supernatural elements. And that's what makes this film stand out above the more recent Blumhouse films. So, this film starts off with Angela and Paul's characters, as we find out that Paul's character, Jacob Chambers, is cheating on his wife. His wife finds out he's cheating, but she doesn't end the marriage. Instead, she basically tells him things are going to go my way. Basically, you cannot tell me no moving forward, and we're going to correct our relationship. And in turn, they go on this vacation that she has been plotting to go on, it seems like for months or for years, according to the way this film works. And they go on vacation to this amazing house in Louisiana. Once they get in the house and get themselves settled, they decide to go pick up groceries. The moment they decide to go pick up groceries is the moment we get the real film here. That's when we are introduced to Jacob's and Doug's characters. After they go grocery shopping, Jacob manages to find out where they live. He comes to visit them and invites them to dinner. Based off of this dinner invite, afterwards we start seeing hints of supernatural elements in the film. Now, I can say this. The moment they meet Jacob and Doug's characters, you kind of know it's going to happen beforehand, just because it's literally the same setup in any supernatural thriller that you're ever going to get, or a home invasion type of thriller you're ever going to get. Like, you meet these strangers and you tend to think they're nice, or the movie wants to pretend like they're nice people, but the audience kind of knows, okay, this is going down a path that we're accustomed to. Here, what separates this film from that path is that this film really, really interjects the supernatural element a lot better than most of the basic films. Now, this one being a micro-budgeted horror film or supernatural thriller, you kind of can expect little flaws in it. And this film has little flaws in it. And if you're overly picky, it could have big flaws for you. For me, as I sat back and watched this film, I watched the realism that Alex was able to capture out of the actors in every instance where either something supernatural happened or the family drama aspects of the film came to the forefront. And that's when this film works the best. It works the best when you just have a small group, 2 or 3 of them at a time, and they're just feeding off of each other. Jacob's character is like a catalyst to everything else that happens in this film. Once he's introduced, once he starts getting into his character and what his character is, because in the film, they never literally tell you exactly what the character is until a couple of twists in the plot, where then you kind of get it more revealed to you exactly what's going on. Now, I can be honest, I see a lot of these films. The first twist, I kind of thought could be the case, but it still caught me a little off guard. The second twist, which is like right in the back half of the middle part of the film, I was like, okay, that's a nice one. The end twist is great, to just say it right. Again, for this type of film, they really took their time with laying out the plot. And that's highly important. Laying out the plot in the story of a film like this, especially a film where it's in a genre that everyone knows about. Everyone knows all these setups. None of it's original. At that point, it becomes about execution. And A House on the Bayou manages to execute where other films recently in the same genre have failed. House on the Bayou succeeds at it, along with solid performances from these actors here. While they're going through everything, family related, supernatural related, horror related, you feel it. And I think that's highly important for a film like this to work, is that you have to also feel like you're going through it with the characters. This reminds me of like the 90s type of thrillers that we used to get. Like even the ones that put the supernatural elements in it. Now, first movie that pops into my head, and this may have been actually late 90s, early 2000s, was Stir of Echoes with Kevin Bacon. Not meaning that the movie is anything like that, just the way that movie is plotted along, slow and deliberate. That's what House on the Bayou reminded me of. So as I'm watching it, I'm like, oh man, this is like the perfect Sunday mid-morning type of thriller that you can really get into. And I think that it works on so many levels that way because of the actors' performances and the director, who is outstanding with micro-budgeted. At this point, I gotta say outstanding with them because he's done 2 of them that I really enjoyed. So I'm assuming he's outstanding with micro-budgeted horror thrillers at this point, because for Blumhouse, and I gotta stick on this, for Blumhouse, who managed to drop 4 films on a different streaming service that none of them really connected well. And for them to come back with this one, which will be dropping November the 19th on Epix, out of all places for this movie to drop, is dropping on Epix. That's amazing to me. For them to get this film, and for the bigger streaming service that works a lot with Blumhouse not to take this film, I really got to question, like, how did that happen? Like, this film really, really works. This reminded me, again, of the classic 2000 thrillers, but it also reminded me of some of the first batch of VOD type of Blumhouse films that we got. Before they blew up, before they became this huge, like, namesake for horror, when they were dropping VOD films often during the course of the year, while some were bad, a lot were really good. And a lot were really good and had that Saturday evening, Saturday afternoon, Sunday afternoon type of feel to them. Like something that you could just turn on. Maybe you catch it in the middle of the film and you still wouldn't turn it off because it can captivate you and capture your attention. To me, they brought it back to their basics with A House on the Bayou. And for that reason, and that reason alone, along with a really good ending that other people may see coming, I don't know how. I didn't particularly see it coming. And I love that I didn't see it coming. And it really, to me, it could possibly set up sequels for this. Not only that, but it just sets up the film so well. Like, it blew my mind the way this film ended. And I was like, oh, wow. I did not know I was watching this type of film. And I think anyone who watches it will probably have that exact reaction that I did once you get to the ending. But if you figured it out beforehand, you're way better than me. So, A House on the Bayou, Again, brought to you from Blumhouse and Epix. This officially drops November the 19th. So it drops for a weekend. There you go. So you can like go into a weekend, maybe a Friday night, Saturday night, Sunday midday. If you have Epix, if you have their streaming service, like check it out. I think you'll really, really enjoy it. Out of a possible 10, I'm going to give A House on the Bayou a 7 out of 10. This is a really solid thriller. Like this is not the throwaway type of thrillers that we've been getting a lot recently. Yes, it's micro budgeted. Yes, it doesn't look at times the best because of its budget. And yes, if someone threw an extra $5 million in his budget, you could have had one of the best looking films humanly possible. But instead, what you get is a director who understands the limitations that his budget sets, and yet and still he manages to give you a movie that is entertaining from start to finish. And that's hard. And again, entertaining from start to finish with really good performances and a twist ending that I don't know if anyone's going to see coming. This has been another JVS movie review. Peace, people.